Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Curtain Call Commentary with Kate and Katie. We have a very stacked episode for you this week. Lots of fun Broadway news has happened, and
Yes.
we're both going to be sharing our dream castings for Les Misérables and comparing them.
Yes.
So definitely stick around for that.
Woo!
Before we start, I'm gonna make a little comment. Ignore my background. I'm dog sitting. Ignore if you hear any dogs barking. We're trying to muffle them out as much as we can, but bear
Yes.
with us.
Yes. And same with me. I have a huge AC unit right here that's blowing air. I hope it doesn't come across, but where I am, it is currently going through a heat wave, and that is real fun. And I decided can't have not have AC when it's there. So we've got our water, we've got our AC. We're good. And also, Katie, we're giving like Glinda and Elphaba vibes today.
Oh,
I'm just
I
letting
love
you
it.
know.
Yes, I've got my Elfie shirt on. This was a Christmas present, and you've
Oh,
got your pink. Super
I
cute.
know. I
I
know.
love
I
it.
do have a Shiz University sweatshirt, so I will wear that
There you
soon.
go.
I love
There
it.
you go.
Got a lot of fun Broadway news this
All
week.
right.
A
Should we get
lot of
into it?
new casts, new everything. And I think every probably hour the other day I was sending you like, oh my God, look. And here we are. So it's
I
just
know.
so fun. Makes our job
So
so easy.
right. I know. So last week we decided to do a little bit of a get to know me episode, which gave us lots of good news stories to talk
Yeah.
about this week.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should start off with a really exciting one. Lin-Manuel Miranda is about to have two original musicals on the same street.
I love him. I love him so much. I actually did send when I graduated, I sent him my graduation invite.
Oh my gosh,
And I was like, "Hey, I love you."
that's so
And
funny.
I
But
I'm waiting
yes,
to hear back. I don't
Warriors.
know if yeah.
Yes, Warriors is officially coming to Broadway. I listened to the album when it first came out a little while ago, and I've been excited for this. So I'm wondering if maybe a trip to New York to see this is in my future.
Yeah, I think that it's also super cool because I'm not too familiar with it, but I did some research on it. We both kind of were talking about it and how it's based on the 2024 concept album, which you just said you listened to. And it was inspired by the 1979 cult film The Warriors and Sol Urich's 1965 novel. And basically, it follows a Coney Island gang that are trying to make their way home to New York City after being falsely accused of killing a major gang leader. And it's going to be set at the Fontaine, which is a great, great theater.
Yes, I know that
Love
one's very
her.
close to your heart.
Oh my God, I love her. I love her. And I mean, I'm sad death becomes her close, but I'm kind of happy that, a new musical is going back into it. And it's one of my favorite theaters and I'm so excited for it to happen. And I think what I've read, it says it's going to begin to start previews in March of 2027 and then debut in April. So we'll definitely schedule a trip to go see it
I'm
because I
excited.
anything with him I adore and he's just great at everything. So yeah.
So do you think that it's possible for a new Lin-Manuel Miranda original musical to avoid being compared to Hamilton?
You know, it's funny you say that because the if anybody's not too familiar with Lin-Manuel's work, right? He had In the Heights, which was a huge, huge hit, won Best Musical, all of these things. And then right afterwards, he had Bring It On. I mean, he had stuff in between then, 21st Jump Street, like all that stuff. But there also was Bring It On, which kind of happened right after.
Wait,
A little,
Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote the Bring It On musical?
yeah, he did like the music for it. Yeah,
I did not know that. You're
yeah,
educating me. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. So I got to see that on Broadway, and it was the best experience of my entire life. I will forever die on that hill that that show was so good. But he wrote the music for that, and he also wrote music for a lot of other things too. But I think when In the Heights came out and then Bring It On happened, people were kind of like, "Oh, is it going to be as good as In the Heights?" And I feel like Bring It On didn't really get that good of a rap with it. I mean, I thought it was great. I loved it. I mean, it's sheer and Broadway and everything, and I thought it was great. But I think that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but I feel like it might compare to Hamilton because I feel like when there's something that everyone loves, they're going to compare it to what has been done previously. I mean, we think of Pasek and Paul and, the Andersons, like with Frozen, like, and so many other great, and Book of Mormon, like there's so many things that really are hard to compare to. And I think comparison is a big thing in the Broadway industry. So I hope it doesn't happen. But I think everyone is well aware of Lynn's power that he has with writing things, and I'm excited. I haven't heard of Issa Davis yet, so I think that that's going to be super cool because I know he's working with them, and I think it's going to be super fun. And I hope that it doesn't get compared because I think every show deserves to have its own legacy in its own realm. But I'm curious, what do you think?
I'm definitely curious. I mean, I think it's hard because Hamilton had such global success, and it's going to be hard for people not to compare it. I mean, people are probably, one of my questions that I had for you here was, do you think this will be more of a theater fan show, a tourist show, or both? And I'm
Yeah,
like sitting here thinking about it, and I feel like it's going to be a mixture of both, but it's going to be a lot of just Lin-Manuel Miranda fans.
yeah,
And so I think inevitably there's going to be some comparing to some of his previous work. But honestly, knowing him, it seems like almost every new work that he comes out with is even more groundbreaking than the last, and just the
absolutely.
creativity that he puts into everything. I kind of imagine this new show coming out and like skyrocketing
Oh,
too.
absolutely. And you know what? It's funny too that this this Lynn is so smart with the lyrics that he writes
Agreed.
and everything, and really, in my opinion, has transformed the way of musical theater as we view it. Because I remember when I was in school, and I remember In the Heights came out, and we were like, wait a minute, like, what is this? I mean, I absolutely adore In the Heights. It's one of, I've seen it multiple times, but never on Broadway, but we're hoping for a reboot, hopefully,
Yeah,
you
bring
know?
us a In the Heights revival, please.
Come on, let's go. We need it right now. I think that it's hard. It's hard, especially now in 2026, to put on a show that is going to be loved by everybody. There's so many shows that come and go, and everyone has a different palette. But I hope this will kind of be a resurgence into, you know, keeping in mind of new shows and the power of new art in this industry.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
also,
so hard for original plays and original musicals to find that lasting
yeah,
fame. And I think we've seen it with
yeah,
a couple shows in the last few years, but we haven't really had a show since a Hamilton or a Hadestown that I feel like was a brand new musical that came out and has just like
yeah.
stuck in a long time.
Yeah. And I feel like, I was even thinking about the other day with like Outsiders, Outsiders in its own realm is, yes, it was based off a book, but it was transformed to this big way. But I also feel like there are so many shows that have recently come through Broadway that have, not really hit the way that they should. And I think that another thing that we need to bring in is like, what's the missing puzzle piece? And I know that that's something that everyone wonders, but I feel like I don't think that there's something that is going to be like, this is the answer. You need more tap numbers or whatever. I mean, I
Right.
love a good tap number, but that's just beside the point. Anyway, same thing with your concept of Stranger Things musical with the Demogorgon as the tap dancer.
I'm so
But
happy about that.
I also feel like the thing that I'm kind of most excited for this, now that when I was reading the description that I just read before, is I think that it's going to be cool to have a little bit of like a gritty New York energy to it. Like, I mean, something that was so brilliant about In the Heights was that it was based off of a place that is a real place, like a
Right.
real, and you can go back and you can visit. It's so funny as a New Yorker, like seeing that and like noticing little changes in the musical. And, I love seeing that type of energy within musicals. And I think anything, like, I think that's also why Two Strangers Carrying a Cake Across New York is doing great right now, is because it actually involves New York and the process of it. And I hope that it goes successfully. And even if it doesn't run for a long time, I know that its impact is going to be really,
Okay.
really big because it's Lynn. Like, you
Yeah,
can't,
definitely.
and Andy Blankenbuehler, like, I think that that's just a match made in heaven. And I just love it. So the next piece of Broadway news that we have is we are having a new group, our new Seymour and our new Audrey. Ethan Slater and Betsy Wolfe are joining Little Shop of Horrors, which is so fun. I mean, you know how we love that show.
Yes,
I
they're
just
replacing Jordan Fisher and Nikki M. James, which I am like devastated I don't get to see that pairing, but this is quite an interesting combination.
yeah, you know what? I was thinking it the first time and I was like, oh, I love my girl Betsy. I really do. I will
Oh,
die on the hill
yes.
of Miss Betsy Wolfe.
Oh, yes.
I love her, but like, Ethan Slater, interesting. I mean, listen, he's a great performer. I have been lucky to see him in Spamalot, and I just, I don't know. I
I'm
don't
like
see him as a
picturing
Seymour.
SpongeBob SquarePants as
Yes. I have to say
like,
though, when I saw Spamalot, this was my favorite thing of all time. And I feel so bad for Ethan that he's surrounded by this whole thing of SpongeBob. But somebody just goes, like in one of the scenes he said, someone goes, SpongeBob? It
he
was
will never live that
so
down.
funny because to me, it was just like he's never gonna live that down, and it's everywhere. And I think in every, even in the Wicked press tour, he was like, "Yeah, I was in SpongeBob." Like I feel so bad, but I don't know. I mean, it was an interesting kind of pick, and I mean, he's already kind of like we've been saying, associated with a quirky kind of high energy sort of musical comedy. I mean, he just did a production of it was called like Marcel, I think that's what it was, and apparently that was like kind of dark and things of that
Mhm.
nature. But what I'm wondering is, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like he's perfect for it? Do you feel like what's your thought? Because especially because you love the show so much, and I feel
I
like,
do.
yeah,
I feel like it's it's an interesting choice. I mean, I think that inherently, yes, Ethan Slater is a
yeah,
good choice for Seymour. I just wonder how it's going to affect the box offices. That's always where my head goes whenever
yeah,
these new castings come out. Because I honestly feel like maybe 6 months ago, before he and Ariana split, this would have like absolutely skyrocketed the box offices for the
right,
show. And now I'm like I
yeah.
hate to have that be the association with him, but unfortunately that's who he is associated with
Yeah,
most of the time.
yeah, and I also
Um,
think that it's important to realize the separation between those two.
oh yeah.
Um, but I also find that it's a little strange that the roles that he's playing are very awkward and very, supposed to
He's
be making
definitely developed
fun
his
of.
niche.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
making fun of. And I feel bad because I want him to grow as a performer. But unfortunately, like you were saying with Ariana, I feel like he's kind of always had that like realm. It's little things like that of his legacy following him. I'm excited to see what he does. I think that he'll be great. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
he is a Broadway performer first, so I feel like that'll be super great. But I remember when I heard it, I kind of was like, oh,
Right. I
like
wasn't
I
like jumping out of my
yeah,
seat. Like when I find out that Jordan Fisher just got cast in something and I'm like, oh, okay, heck yeah. Or Ben
yeah,
Platt or whatever. I'm like
yeah,
jumping out of my seat at the news. But I was just like, oh, okay. But like you said, I'm excited to see his choices as
yeah. And I find that Betsy is a perfect pick because
yeah.
I will literally see that woman in anything she does because she's great. And I've gotten to meet her at the stage door and she was just couldn't be kinder. And like, she's just the best and such a warm, funny soul. Like, is just has a really great energy to her. And so if you don't know, she's a major Broadway favorite, has been for a long time. And she's been in things like And Juliet, Waitress, Falsettos, The Mystery of Edwin Drood. And she also just closed, as of yesterday, we are filming this on Monday, the beloved Death Becomes Her as Madeline Ashton. And I am kind of excited to see her in this role because if there's anything she knows how to do, she knows how to sing, first of all,
Mhm.
but also be hilarious. Like there are
Yeah.
lines, I saw her in And Juliet, and there are lines that she said, just how she delivered it was like, the normal line would be like, oh, I went to the park. And how she delivered it was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I feel that she has the comedic timing, she has the vocals, but I also think that she's going to be able to bring the emotion to Audrey and the heartache, or not heartache, the longing when she sings Somewhere That's Green. I'm a fan of Little Shop, but I'm not as big as fan, I think, as you are. But I'm curious. The first thing I thought when I heard this news, I was like, what's Katie think? Because that's literally your show.
I'm
That's your
excited to see their pairing. I agree with you. I think Betsy Wolfe is going to be a great Audrey. I think that casting, like without a second thought, and like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Ethan Slater, again, I feel like that makes sense. Whether people
Yeah.
like him or don't like him or find him cringy or whatever, I think that he's gonna really bring out that like awkwardness in Seymour that we have kind of come to expect.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I love Jordan Fisher, and I've seen him as Seymour before, I think, as like
I
in
think you
clips.
said.
But I just think Jordan Fisher is like too hot to be awkward. Even when he played Orpheus, I was like,
You were like, hello?
Orpheus hot. Like, not that Reeve Carney's not hot, but I mean, I have seen the TikToks that have been coming out recently about what people really think of his performance.
Oh.
But like, Jordan Fisher made Orpheus a hottie. And like, since then, it has kind of opened the door to Orpheus actually being like
Right.
kind of heroic looking. Sorry, Reeve. I'm so sorry.
We love you, Reeve.
but I do think that Ethan Slater can bring out more of that like awkwardness in
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I find that with Seymour, at least a few Seymours, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the few Seymours that like I've seen, like Thomas Doherty, is that what it's Thomas Doherty? He was in the Descendants series and Gossip Girl and all that stuff. He played Seymour, and I was like, that man is so attractive. Not that like Seymour can't be attractive, because I've seen iterations where he can be, but he's supposed to
Oh
be
yeah.
awkward. And like I saw little things that he was doing, and I was like, why am I getting like Clark Kent vibes? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like it
I
was just
kind
kind
of
of a
had
little,
that like same fear when I saw Milo Manheim in Little
oh, I
Shop,
love
because I was like,
Milo.
he's such like a fan favorite. Like he's everybody thinks he's so hot.
He played
And
it perfectly.
he did. I like all his little mannerisms. Like I was really impressed with his performance, especially that being, I mean, it's not a Broadway debut because it's off Broadway, but his first like credit in a New York theater like that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
And Andrew Barth Feldman has played the role brilliantly
oh yeah.
before. And it's just, there's so many things. I always try to keep an open mind, because obviously the casting director saw something that we never saw, but I'm excited to see how that goes. And I guess that we can keep an open mind, and we'll hear our feedback coming soon. I don't know when they debut, but I think it should be soon.
July
Um,
21st.
July. Okay, perfect. So
So
I'm excited to kind of hear how that goes. And I'm sure that this is one of the many casting announcements where you're like, I could see it. Like you were saying, like he just kind of fits that role. And you're like,
yeah.
I understand. Yeah. Yeah. You know? So we'll see. I mean, I always try to be open with it. So let's see how it goes.
Moving on, this is very exciting. So for the first time in 20 years, Naturi Naughton Lewis is back on Broadway,
Woo!
joining The Great Gatsby as Jordan Baker.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I mean, I'm really, really devastated to see St. Pauli leave. But that's
This is
actually,
exciting.
in case anybody doesn't know The Great Gatsby, which it's one of my favorite books, first of all. So I'm a little upset. But I was like, you know, let's just kind of.
I think we can assume that most people who have gone to school in the United States have at least been introduced to The Great Gatsby, but
Listen,
maybe not
listen.
nowadays.
When I went, spoiler alert, you could skip this ahead. When Gatsby dies, there was a lot of, you know, like it's in the book and the
Yeah.
movie. Did y'all not read it?
But a lot of people also haven't read it since high school. So there's
Well,
that.
yeah, it is based off of F. Scott Fitzgerald's brilliant novel, The Great Gatsby, that has been put into a musical. It has been put into a movie, two movies, I believe, because somebody said that there was Leonardo DiCaprio and someone else, but I was like, oh, I
I
have to
think
watch
there's
the
like
other
an
movie.
old one.
Yeah.
Robert Redford, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a very great. I love this musical. I actually was listening to it a little bit before, but it features music by Jason Howland and Nathan Tyson, but it also has a book by Kate Carrigan and direction by Mark Bruni. So it's super fun, and the characters are very a little bit more fleshed out than the book, in my opinion. But Jay in this version is very nervous and nerdy, and at least that's when I saw Jeremy Jordan play it. It was that. But I was shocked that Jordan Baker had more of a presence in this
Mm,
musical than the book because she's only mentioned, she's there, but she's
yeah.
not, and she's the love interest of Nick, the narrator of this story. And I'm excited to see a new take on Jordan. Obviously, Sam Pauly has done it brilliantly since it opened. And I was lucky enough, I didn't get to see Sam, unfortunately, but I saw Dariana Mullen and I love her. She's literally the best, and she is great. I love both of them so much, and I'm so excited to see a new Jordan come into the mix
Yeah.
and see, what her vibe is going to be. Because Jordan's like a stylish, cool, she's very social, and she has to have that presence that's like when she walks into a room, she's there.
Yeah.
Like she's Jordan Baker. She's a golfer, but like she also goes to a lot of parties. She works with Meyer Wolfstein, like all these things. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it because I feel like I've talked a lot, but I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I'm excited. I think it's always exciting to see somebody come back to Broadway after a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and this kind of casting is always great for a show that we want to keep running for longer because she's got Broadway history, she's got TV history. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that she'll be a great asset to the cast. And I'm excited to see a new take on Jordan Baker because
Yeah.
I watch a lot of videos of the new Money performance, and I really like all of the choices that I've
Mm-hmm.
seen. I haven't seen The Great Gatsby yet. I really
We'll have
need
to go
to.
see it. We'll have
Yeah,
to go
we
see
definitely will.
it.
I have friends who have come back and from seeing it and been like, "Katie, you have to go. Like, it's so
Yeah.
good." Just I think that Gatsby is a show that has been exciting to watch the replacement castings. I mean, we've had Eva Noblezada in the show, we've had Sarah Hyland in the show, we've had Jeremy Jordan in the show, we've had Ryan McCartan. There have been
We've
so
had
many
Aisha
amazing,
Jackson,
yes, there have been
so
so
many.
many amazing actors and actresses that have been in the show so far. So it's always exciting to watch to see who's coming next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for Naturi. I hope I'm saying her name right. I'd feel terrible if I wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super fun. And I feel like she's going to bring a lot of energy to the role. And I'm excited. I'm always excited to hear, new takes on the show and to see new takes on roles that have been around for a very long time. So,
Right.
because there's many ways you can play Jordan. And we could talk about it on a different date about The Great Gatsby itself. Our next story that actually I have had stuck in my head pretty much all day today, specifically Goodbye My Room. Maybe Happy Ending is about to become the longest running show in the Belasco Theater's history, which is super, super cool. And I think on July 7th, it's about to hit its 688th performance.
Wow.
So the previous Belasco records have said that 687 performances were only held by the 1935 play Dead End, which is
Hmm.
crazy. Because if you
That's a
think,
long time ago.
and then I think that they have new release tickets basically through February 28th, 2027. And I am very excited about this achievement because any show that makes a really big achievement is great. So, what do you think?
I'm excited. I maybe Happy Ending is one show that has been on my list for a long time that I have just not had a chance to
Yeah.
make it out to see yet. But I was so excited. I'm a huge Darren Criss fan. And so when they won the Tony last year, I mean, I was super excited about that. But this is so exciting. I mean, to be a new musical that not only is able to run for over 2 years at the same theater on Broadway, but to break that theater's record, I just think that's exciting, and
Yeah.
I hope that it continues to build on maybe Happy Ending's popularity,
Yeah.
um,
And
and
there's
that it,
also only four people in the cast. Like, I mean,
yeah,
there's
I
obviously
love a
swings
small
and standbys,
cast. I love a
but
small cast.
it's great. And I think if you nobody's really familiar with maybe Happy Ending, it's about two helper bots that are like I think it takes place in Seoul.
Oh, I know that they are like helper robots that end up falling in love and like developing feelings.
Yeah, or
Um,
I think they try to find their original owner.
okay.
There's some twists and turns. They have to try to find Oliver's owner, previous owner, who he's been looking for a long time, and that journey goes on itself. And I think it's a great show and a beautiful show, and something that really kind of speaks to today's society and also others. And yeah, I think it's so cool.
Yeah. I
Um,
think original musicals need wins like this. So
oh,
this is very, very exciting.
100%. 100%. I feel like original musicals are what is needed in this world right now, because I feel like there's constantly this argument of why are there so many revivals going on all the time?
I feel like some shows have to like find their place in time. Like I think of
Yeah.
Merrily We Roll Along specifically as a
Oh.
show that it really took a long time for it to find its place in time,
Mhm.
but and also the people that are in it matter a lot as well.
Mhm.
Because when Daniel and Jonathan and Lindsay took over, well, not took over, but when they opened Merrily We Roll Along,
Yeah.
that was a cultural moment for Broadway fans.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think some revivals really take their place in time, but when you have an original musical that comes out and like it's in its place in time when it comes out, and you can tell by the
Yeah.
fan reactions and the grosses and the amount of time that it runs. I think that that's really
Yeah.
exciting, and yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a win for originals.
When I hear stories about these shows breaking records or recouping or anything of that nature, I love it because it feels almost like hopeful in a way that like, shows are doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, it's not really about like, so often I feel like we hear stories about like celebrities joining cast and, or shows closing or X, Y, and Z. But it feels real and feels exciting that a show that is original on Broadway with a very small cast is staying steady. And I love it. I love hearing good news about Broadway and things like that. So I'm excited to hear what comes next.
So, in closing news, we do have several productions that have recently closed, including Death Becomes Her, Giant, and The Fear of 13. Always sad to see shows close. I know there was a lot of praise for, definitely praise for Death Becomes Her, a lot of praise during Tony season for Giant. The Fear of 13, I really haven't heard too much about. I don't
Yeah.
know if you're very familiar
Was
with that show.
no, I honestly, I'm really bad with keeping up with plays and things. Like I love plays, but I feel like I'm really bad at keeping up.
Yeah,
I feel like
we're
it
definitely more
always
musical
gets over.
girls.
Well, always gets overshadowed by a lot of other things. But it's funny you're talking about Death Comes Her, because I think that online buzz was really important for that show. I mean, it was trending on TikTok.
Yeah. I think once Megan Hilty left the cast, it definitely had a little bit of a
Yeah.
downward trend from
Yeah.
there. But I haven't even seen that show, and I know
Oh,
it's
so
hysterical.
good.
I love the
So
music of
good.
the show.
It's so good. If you haven't heard of Death Becomes Her, we have some iconic moments of "That was rude, that was really rude." That's the clean version. "Tell Me You're Earnest." We have just so many amazing songs that are just iconic moments, and like Jennifer Smart and Megan Hilty are just powerhouses. Same with Betsy Wolfe and Jennifer Smart. Like I think anything that Jennifer does, I will love forever. But I think that it's important to bring up if I feel like there's a lot of shows that have resurgence or they blow up on TikTok or online and has a really good stable thing for a while. And I just feel like the content area is maybe was not everybody's cup of tea because it's very dry humor.
It's a dark comedy, right?
It is. It is. And it's very like, and it's supposed to be very campy to begin
Mhm.
with. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's a scene where they fall down the stairs, and you're supposed to see that it's another person, like switch with Megan Hill. Like, it's supposed to be that like campy feeling, and I think that it does it perfectly. To be honest, that's I could talk about it
And
forever.
I think it's important to note that closing does not always mean failure. Even in the case of Death Becomes Her, I've already seen that they've announced some tours coming up for that. So just
Yeah.
because it's ending its time on Broadway doesn't mean it's going away. You will be able to see it probably at one of the theaters local to you within the next year or so.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested in
Yeah.
seeing Death Becomes Her on tour, definitely keep an eye out for that.
As someone who has been part of something that has failed, um, a experience that has failed, I think my heart goes to all these people for closing notices, especially so soon. I worked on the Galactic Star Cruiser, and I definitely will die on the hill of you saying that just because it closed doesn't mean it failed, because it really
Right.
didn't. It didn't. And I think it also creates this sense of urgency. Once a closing notice is announced, everyone's like, I got to go see it. And sometimes it's too late. It's easy to blame things for not working. And I think it's just how the industry goes, unfortunately. And it's always a sad part. But that's my personal opinion, because I want to put that in there.
At least it's making room for another exciting new musical that is hopefully going to come in
Yeah.
and make some waves as well.
And then Fantine is great. And Lynn, I think, is gonna great. And that theater is so iconic to begin with. It's Little Mermaid and all these things. I love it. So I think that just because one show closes doesn't mean that new art can't come in and restart it and create that energy again.
Definitely.
In other news, now we're going to do a thing of quick news, quick hit news lightning round. Basically, we're just going to talk about these stories in a quick manner. I'm just not letting it too go because we love to yap. We love to do that. But one of the big news that we have that I actually screamed when I heard was Miss Jasmine Amy Rogers will lead the Sound of Music revival at the Lincoln Center. And it is I'm so excited. She's going to be Maria, and it's going to be so exciting because she's coming off of such like a big high from Boop. And Maria is one of those roles that I find is very classic. Everyone has an idea of what she should be. Obviously, Julie Andrews played her brilliantly, and I'm excited to see Jasmine play it because it's going to be such a inspiring, like it's going to be such like a fun role for her to see her in, because we've seen her in Boop, we've seen her in Spelling Bee, and I think she's just going to be amazing. She's amazing at anything she does. So last Monday, actually, when we were recording it, I actually, as soon as we ended the call, turned it on. The Jimmy Awards took place and the winners were announced, and Jake James and Samia Posadas were named the top performers. And this is a really feel good theater story and a reminder that there are insane talents that are coming up, and there's so much talent that is coming along the way. Watch the Jimmy Awards. I try to watch it every year, and the amount of talent in these kids' like bodies are insane. And I think like there was one girl that won the Roger Rees Award. Her name is Emerson Hunt. And when I tell you, I was watching her performance. She was a finalist and also in the character medleys. And I sat there and I was like, she's going to be on Broadway. Like
Oh,
it
absolutely.
doesn't even matter. And
You
if
guys
nobody's
have to go watch her performance of I Miss the Mountains. You will absolutely have full body chills. I have watched it more than
so
once. Every
good.
time it comes up on my TikTok, I have to watch it all the way through. I even commented on one of Emerson's TikToks saying that I
Yeah.
was going to talk about her on our show. So I'm glad you brought her up.
She's the best. And I feel like she's so talented. And I find that if nobody's really familiar with the Jimmy Awards, it's a way there's like different awards around the United States that have to do with performing arts, their roles that they played at their high school. So they have one in California, they have all these places, they have Utah, like all these different places, they have different awards. And then once they win that award, then they have a ticket to the Jimmy Awards, and they get to perform on a Broadway stage, the Minskoff Theater, make their Broadway debut, and basically get to perform. And they spend a week learning material from Broadway veterans, and they get to really learn this whole process. They get to see shows, they get to go talk backs, they get to work on their own songs individually and get professional feedback, all these things. And it's such a cool process and such a great way to acknowledge the talent. And we've had some really great people come from these performances, whether they won or not. We have Antonio Cipriano, we have Renee Rapp, we have Andrew Barth Feldman, we have Josh Strobel, we have Jasmine Amy Rogers, Ava Noblezada, we have Ryan McCartan, like all the stuff. So I think that it's such a great way to see all these things happen, and I'm excited to see where these kids go next.
The next generation of Broadway. And then we also have exciting news. So Broadway Bears broke a fundraising record this year with a record-breaking amount raised for Broadway Cares and Equity Fights AIDS. This is close to my heart. There's actually a girl from my hometown who played Rose Granger Weasley at one point in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and I've been seeing her posts for Broadway Bears on Facebook. So I always love seeing everyone who's participating and what they do for the charity events. So I think that that's super cool and exciting that they have broken that record.
Now we're going to go into our dream casting segment, which is for Les Mis. And Katie and I are so exciting because now that we've talked about actual theater Broadway casting, we are going to do what I personally feel is like legally required for all theater fans to do at some point, which is pretending that we are casting directors. I know that we do that all the time, but I feel like today's good day.
We do this every episode, but this one's special.
We also do it in our off time. It's great. Texting all the time, being like, hey, this person. But today we are both dreamcasting Les Mis. I know the past few episodes we have done, I do a dreamcast, and then the next episode, Katie does a dreamcast. But this time I felt like it'd be cool to see how our thoughts differ. So basically what we did was we have the role, or we have the show, and then we give each other the roles that we're going to pick from. And I pick people that I would like to see in Katie, but we don't know who each other picked. We could pick the same. Who knows?
I have a feeling we might have a couple crossovers
Maybe. I also tried to pick people that either they have played the role before, or I really want to pick people that we haven't mentioned yet. This is a very high stakes musical. So I think when we were casting this, and we have to know that the vocal stamina is tremendous. They need to be very good vocalists. They need to be good character actors, but also everyone really has strong opinions about who should sing and who should actually be allowed to sing Bring Him Home, because that is up there.
Yeah. That's a big thought when I was trying to cast is like, whose voice would I like to hear sing Bring Him Home? So do you want to give your pick first, or do you want to hear mine?
We can go together with like let me pull up my list. Okay. So the first person that we have is Jean Valjean, Mr. 24601. So I said Ramin Karimloo.
Yeah, you were going to say that.
I love that man so much. And just hearing him live and hearing his take on it was just amazing. And I think that he brings the strong, not like the strength to Jean Valjean, but also like you want to like root for him. Like you just like, I don't know. I think vocally we have seen in multiple performances of Ramin, like that he can really sing. Like for a long period of time, he's done Phantom, he's done all this stuff. Not that any other actor can't, but it's a role that like you don't really get time off stage. So it's definitely, I think him would be in my top pick. But what would you say?
So I went with our best actor in a musical, Tony Award winner, Joshua Henry, who I also think would be a great Javert.
I had him. I actually had him on my list.
As Javert?
No, yes, as Javert, but also as Jean Valjean, because I couldn't decide. Yeah.
Okay, so that was my pick. His vocals in Bring Him Home would be spectacular. His vocals in Stars would be spectacular. We need Joshua Henry in.
I need him in everything
right now. That was the one that I thought we might have the same pick.
All right, Javert. Who would you say?
So I struggled with Javert, and then I went back to my roots and said Patrick Page because
stop. I say the exact same thing.
Just him singing Stars, I think would change my life. And
it would be perfect.
Yeah, it would change a lot of people's lives.
So I said Stephen Pascal or Pasquale or Patrick Page or Joshua Henry, but Patrick Page was like because like can you imagine the confrontation? Glad you didn't say Russell.
Make me like yearn. Like,
right.
I'm yearning.
Right. I'm so glad you didn't say Russell Crowe because I literally think I would have just left.
Girl, come on, be better than that.
Okay. Listen. just rolling the dice. But okay, Miss Fantine, a little baby girl. I love her. Also, Dreamgirl, by the way. I also saw Casey Levy as it, and I was obsessed. And she
Oh,
is great.
okay.
She was great. But I would love to see Christiane Pitts as
Okay.
Fantine. I feel like she would really bring the Boots house down. But I love her. I think that vocally she'd really play. She has the vocal agility to do it. But also Nichelle Lewis, I said would be a really good. She plays Sarah in Ragtime, and then I also said Jessie Mueller because I would love to see Jessie in that. And I feel like Fantine is such a. You need to be strong within like the first act or like the first thing of it. Capture the emotion, the heartache, and also the release of Cosette. And then because once she does that, she starts the story. So without her, the story wouldn't happen. So I think that those are my picks, but I'm excited to hear who you pick because that was also another hard role, but I was like, ooh.
Yes, so this was hard, and I honestly have been like going like trading around all of the Broadway baddies in my head for
Yeah.
both Fantine and Cosette. So I think my top choice would be Samantha Barks. That's just like easy. She played Éponine. Now she is playing Fantine in the
Yeah.
2026 concert cast, which I would love to see. And then just like other Broadway baddies that I think could take on the role and would be really good would be Soleil Pfeiffer or Nicole Scherzinger.
It's a hot take. I love that, but I
It's a
can
hot
see
take.
it.
It's a hot take, but I know that
Okay, love it.
both of them have the vocals,
So
and
Leah,
like
hands down.
her voice is so gorgeous. She's got the emotional like range in her
Yeah.
voice. And then Nicole, I just the powerhouse vocals. Like I loved her Norma. I'm like that might be a hot take. I don't
That's
know.
great.
Sunset Boulevard was pretty popular, but I loved her Norma. I would
Yeah.
love to see her as Fantine.
Yes, I definitely think she'd be a great. All right, Cosette.
Okay.
So this one I had to really think about because Cosette has to be sing very high. She's very high, but she can like belt a little bit, like a little dip her toe, like hey. But like also she needs to really be a soprano. So I thought of Miss Emma Flynn, who is the
Okay.
current Glinda on Broadway right now. I think that she'd be perfect for Miss Cosette. I think she'd bring the innocence to her. Because the thing with Cosette, she needs to be like youthful. Like, and she's been sheltered away from the world for so long in both an intentional manner, but not an intentional manner. And I think that she's for that youthfulness. But I also thought Anna Zellison. She's in Masquerade right now, playing one of the Christine Dies. And she is absolutely amazing. She was in The Notebook for the last months of the run as young Allie. Did an absolutely great job, and I just think she'd be really great in this role. And yeah, so who would you say?
So I actually said Jordan Tyson.
Ooh,
Notebook realm. I was trying to think of like a younger Broadway voice, somebody who could bring a little bit of like softness and charm to the role. And I think
yes.
that Jordan would be a really interesting Cosette to see, and I would love to see it.
So Marius, I love my boy Marius, but like at times I'm like, okay, calm
This one's
down.
hard.
I said Casey Likes
Okay, I could see it.
because I feel like I could see him playing that like youthful, like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm a golden retriever. I'm here. He also would do a great job at that role, and vocal agility wise, empty chairs and empty tables would be insane.
So in my opinion, we have to have a former Orpheus as Marius. That's just the way that my brain works. So I said either Jordan Fisher or Ali Louise Borsey would be
Wait a minute.
interesting as Marius. Can you
Yes,
see it? Are you
I could
visualizing
see
it
it.
with me?
Definitely see
Tony
that.
Award winner Ali Louise Borsey.
Love. All right. So Thenardier, which these Thenardier and Madame Thenardier have to be like comedy roles. So for Thenardier, I want to hear your thoughts because I want to know who you think.
This one was so hard. I don't know. I said Andrew Rannells. I was just looking for somebody funny.
I said Christopher Sieber
Okay.
or Alex Brightman.
Okay, I actually also had Alex Brightman on my list. Okay, I could
because
see that.
that would be iconic. I just also my Madame Thenardier goes along with uh, Christopher Seaver, which is Jennifer Samard, because I think that she would kill like those two together. I need them in every show possible because comedy geniuses. Or I also love Natalie Charles Ellis. She has been in so many things, and I've loved her for so long. She just had a baby, which like go off queen. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but I really do love her. And I think that she, comedy wise, is brilliant. And I think that she could really take it and go with it and make her funny, but also like you like want to like her a little bit, also like you kind of hate her.
I again like went back to one of my original Broadway baddies, who is Annalee Ashford. I think
Oh,
she's really
absolutely.
hilarious, or Jennifer Samard.
Yes. So Miss Eponine, our little girl Eponine.
I think it's the one
What
that
was that?
I wrote down the fastest, and I said Joy Woods. And just
Okay, I hear that.
her belt,
Okay.
her emotional tones, and her voice. Like I need to hear her sing on my own right now.
That was
Right now.
also like near my list too as well. But I also said Issa Briones.
Oh, I just got chills.
This girl would actually do it once she finishes her charts. No, I'm just kidding. But like
Once she finally
she
finishes charting.
but I know she hates that joke, so I feel so bad, Issa. I'm so sorry. But I think she would that was the one that I wrote down the fastest. I said Issa. I was like, without a doubt.
I
And then
love
I tried
that.
to think of like other people that like I would love to see. I would love to see either Rachel Zegler or Julia Lester play her because she's just iconic. But Issa is my girl. So
That's iconic.
yeah, Raj. Okay.
I did not write
So
down a child actor because I don't know any child
you
actors
know what
by
I
name.
wrote down? And this is because I'm bad with names. I wrote the children from Ragtime.
Solid. One of the kids from Ragtime would definitely play
And I also
someone.
put the kid from Schmigadoon. I think that that would be great. Same for young Cosette. Like I didn't really put down anyone because I'm not too familiar with the younger actors.
I don't really, I feel weird like dream casting children. So
Uh,
that's why I
yeah.
didn't
So like
have
leave
an
that up to the
actress for
casting
Lulu.
directors. Well, actually, we're actually gonna play young Cosette and Gavroche. We're just gonna
Oh,
all
I'm
play
gonna
on
be
different
playing
days.
Gavroche and Kate's gonna be playing Young Gazette in this
I
specific.
have been preparing my entire life with Castle on a Cloud.
I believe
I
it.
was ready. I had the costumes, everything. The one and only Enjolras, which I am so in love with that man. I always remember when I was like little and I couldn't pronounce his name. I was like, the guy in the red vest. That's our boy. But go ahead.
Yes, I don't think that I'm ever gonna be able to not associate him with Aaron Tveit. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
personally, having Jordan Fisher as Marius and Aaron Tveit as however you say his name, um, I think that would be iconic. And I
I think that'd be
don't know
really
what
cool.
I would do with myself, but you'd probably have to mop me up out of the theater as a puddle.
I have a different choice because I love Aaron, but I want to think, okay, outside the box, who would he be? And I said Antonio Cipriano or Brent Comer
Oh,
because
okay.
Brent has
Okay.
been a part of the Les Mis tour before. So I was like, oh, that'd be really great. But I also was like, Antonio would like bring this like edginess to it. I feel like a little bit of like a, especially him and Casey. If like Casey, like, I feel like it'd be
Right.
a
And
good
he's been having
dynamic.
his moment recently.
Absolutely, we loved him in Jack a Little Pill. Okay, it's just, I think it's just, it's, I don't know. I feel like it changes all the time for me, and I feel like I'm always like, who do what, who? But I know that these people can, like Antonio and Brent, could absolutely sing that role and bring that like protectiveness that comes with Enjolras. Like I feel like Enjolras is very like, yes, he's hot-headed in some ways, but also he he loves Marius and he wants to see him succeed and same any like a brotherhood. So I feel like that would be really cool to see them take the roles. I also love Brent Comer so much. So I want to see him in anything. And I actually almost put him as Marius, but I was like, Enjolras probably be like where we're at. But I don't know. So I actually have this role that I wanted to throw in there that I feel like would be super cool, and I did put myself for it. I want to play the barricade.
Oh, okay.
especially because Jamie Lloyd is in Jamie Lloyd's production. It could be like a
Okay.
metaphor. I'm
I
also
can see
used to
it.
people walking on all over me a lot, so um,
No.
me as the barricade. Catch me in my Broadway debut as the barricade in Les Mis, a Jamie Lloyd production coming summer 2027.
Casted by the hosts of Curtain Call Commentary podcast.
Right. I listen, I think that I would be strong enough. And honestly, I think it just, I think I can see it. And I don't know why casting directors haven't seen it yet because, like,
Agreed.
yeah,
I loved
so much
hearing
fun.
the things that we like were completely opposite ends of like the spectrum
Yeah.
on, and then the ones that we were like thinking along the same lines.
And I also think, like, let's just say, I want to put this out there because I feel like when I talk about Dreamcast, like, I never want anyone to be like, well, you said this person wouldn't be vocally strong in this. I think that this is just our opinion. It's never an opinion of like everyone else.
Right.
But I think that that that's the fun thing about dreamcasting is that we're not in the minds of the casting directors. So we're just doing this for fun. And hopefully some of you will have same opinions as us. And with that, we actually want to ask you a little bit about what you think. Um, if you are hearing our choices and you're like, hey, this is actually cool. I agree with this. Or, hey, I actually disagree with this. Share with us who you would want as these roles down below. We'd love to hear it, or DM us. And we want to see, because we've gotten actually a few comments on our past posts. Like someone was saying with Gatsby, they want this person as Gatsby and all those things. And we definitely read the comments. So please comment and all those things. We always try to respond back. Same with YouTube and everything like that. So we definitely want to hear your thoughts. So let us know.
And thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to another episode of Curtain Call Commentary. I'm like driving myself crazy right now because I'm sitting in front of this window.
You're like, hello, I can't see.
But thank you all for sitting down and listening to us and hearing our picks. And like Kate said, leave your picks in the comments so that we can debate. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We can put those in the description.
I also want to mention really sorry before we
Oh,
say,
go for it, girl.
I also want
Go
to
ahead.
mention on our TikTok, we can't put the link in our bio for the full thing, but just know if you search us up on YouTube as Curtain Call Commentary, it should be on there. I just know a lot of people were like, wait, where's the pod? You know, and it's because we couldn't link it in TikTok. But follow us on there, stream us on Spotify podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you find your streaming platforms. And we love the support so far. So thank you for that. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.